Cool. Wow, that's impressive. A very big audience. As you noticed, there's no Giulio this time. I feel very sad. He was actually the one bullshitting all the time. So it's only myself. Sorry for being alone. He's actually preparing this speech because he's going to be one of those companies pitching later because they're looking for developers and designers. So today it's only me. Welcome to Speck&Tech. I see a lot of new faces, as always, and a lot of old faces, people that have been here from day one. Yeah, over there. Thank you. Okay, Speck&Tech number 20. As you maybe noticed, we turned 2 years old a couple of days ago. So happy birthday, Speck&Tech. It was the 1st of March of 2016 when we first gathered. Feeling emotional. And it was the 1st of May of 2016 when we first gathered. A couple of us decided to run this show and to start doing something. Sorry, oh, that was the live. Yeah. And so yeah, right now we do events for 100 to 20, 150 people, so it's pretty interesting. Marco, oh, che dai? Yes, trova.
It's not me.
Ah no, yeah.
Was me, yes,
Sorry. An applause. Okay, so as I was saying, this is the event number 20, and we're talking about, it's titled Your Next Job, which means how the world of our jobs and the work will change in the coming years. And for this reason, we will have a crazy speaker here, Marco from TOPTAL. An applause for him. And actually, this is kind of a sort of a different event compared to other times. We've always followed more or less the same standard of having 2 talks from 2 speakers from 2 different aspects on the same topic. And today we will change it, and we're gonna have only 1 talk from Marco, a bit more visionary in a sense. And then we're gonna have a reverse pitch competition by some of the coolest companies that supported us in the past. These were companies that actually believed in Speck&Tech. A couple of 6 months ago, when we had our hackathon for the public administration with the Team Digitale and CodeMotion, and they were sponsoring us, supporting us not only financially but also giving us support, like trusting you, we believe in you, we're going to help you. And today we wanted to do a follow-up with them to give them a possibility to pitch in front of you and to convince you that they're worth and that you should go working by them or studying at them. So just to start a bit of the night, we're gonna, as always, say a big thanks to our sponsors. It's maybe the most boring part, but we have to do it because it's actually the reason why Speck&Tech is running on a 0 budget, apart from your donations, of course. So first of all, tonight we have a great sponsor. These guys actually are based in the US, and they noticed this very tiny community growing up fast in the Alps. TOPTAL, I give the word to Brian for a couple of words. I leave the word to him. Big applause.
Thank you very much, Francesco. So I'm excited to be here at Speck&Tech. My name is Brian King. I work at TOPTAL. I'll tell you about TOPTAL in a moment. First, I want to say I came here from, I'm your neighbor. I live in Slovenia, on the east side of the country in a town called Novo Mesto. Without stopping, it's 5 hours drive, so come and visit us. Beautiful country, Slovenia. You might guess from my accent that I'm not Slovene, so if you can figure out where I am, I will buy you a drink afterwards, or rather, I will just give you one from the table over there. So come and talk to me afterwards. Yeah, so really happy to be here tonight. So, quick question. How many, hands up if you are or have ever been a freelancer? Okay, not that many. A slight variation of that, how many of you have worked remotely? Okay, more. Okay, so you're familiar with it. So, what is TOPTAL? TOPTAL is a network of software developers, designers, and finance experts currently. we will move into other spaces. And great clients. And what we do is, we do the matching. So, we find great opportunities for the top people in these fields. So, we need you. We're a 100% remote company. Francesco mentioned we're a US company, but we're just registered there, but we are in fact a global company with a global workforce and a global network, including here in Italy. A startup who was waiting on funding, can you guarantee to be paid? And of course, one of the big things about working remotely is the lack of a connection. Many people I talk to who don't work in an office, or rather who do work in an office, say, oh, I can't work remotely. I really need to have those water cooler conversations, and I really miss social and having meetings with my coworkers and so on. So what TOPTAL does, I won't say aim to do, but what we devote our lives and all our energies to as an organization, as a network, is getting rid of all those barriers for you, making it a seamless process. So we look after payment, we look after getting jobs for you, we look after finding great clients. Likewise, if you are a client, we find great talent to work for you. So in essence, that's what we do. You could say to yourself, you could ask, well, that last issue I talked about, connectedness, you can't, fix that. I'd argue that, in a sense, all communities are moving online these days, right? How many of you are great friends with your neighbors, right? Or even know your neighbors? The world has changed, and I think the tools have become better, the connections have become better, better bandwidth, I think, has solved a lot of that issue. But it's not just that. We're very proactive in, I work at the community team at TOPTAL, and my goal is to engage our network, or our goal is to engage our network as much as possible. We do that through events, we do that through learning programs and academies, we do that through volunteer programs with our network, a whole host of different things. We get people together, whether that's online or offline. We do co-working days for our network in cities around the world. So we ensure that everybody working for TOPTAL feels connected. And I hope you all feel connected here tonight. My colleague Marco is going to talk a little bit more, I think, in a general sense about remote work and where that's going, where the future is there. I was going to throw a lot of stats at you, so I'm holding my phone, about the upward trajectory of remote working. A recent survey in the US stated that 35% of workers are now working remotely in the US. I don't think we're quite there in Europe yet. I don't have any Europe numbers. But we firmly believe at TOPTAL that this is the future of work. It's actually what people are demanding in modern lifestyles. So we hope you will find out more about us this evening. Welcome. Come and talk to myself at any time. We have Marco and Marco, two other TOPTALers here. And yeah, if you're looking for opportunities, you know where to find me. Thank you. Whoa.
Cool, thanks Brian for the introduction. The reason why we started at 7:45 today was also, 8:10, okay, was to give a longer time for you to enjoy the networking part with a lot of spec and a lot of beers. And also to talk to these guys. So they're actually here pitching 5 minutes, but they will stay longer to talk to you, to know what they're doing, to if you're interested in a position or whatever, to discuss later, and so on. So there is actually Giulio, my counterpart, doing these slides, but this time it's going to be only me. So Impact Hub, it's one of our sponsors because they're giving us this fantastic space for free. And we are generous to them for giving us this fantastic venue that also feels a bit rough, and it's the home of Speck&Tech since day one. Then it's Yeti Digital, my organization, and Belka, Giulio's company, that are actually sponsoring the event with our time. Then we have GitHub, Cloudflare, and Diginate that are providing us our fantastic stickers. If you don't have them, go get there at the beginning of the room, at the entrance of the room, and you can use them wherever you want, especially stick them on your laptop. Factory Cloud is giving us the software to register your donation, so if you just donate €1, you get a fantastic email from us saying thanks with all the love from Speck&Tech, kind of. And we also invoice 11% to the country of Italy, so if we are so rich, it's actually thanks to Speck&Tech. Diginate is also providing us with fantastic stickers. We had 3 editions up to now. This one is like the brand of Speck&Tech. And also we have our t-shirts that you can get at the entrance. They're actually the edition of 27, so if you don't have the edition of 27, get it now because it might be late otherwise. And then look at that, that's Segata, and I guess most of you are waiting for this, because it's like probably 1 hour and a half or sort of. They're gonna wait us in the kitchen, and they're like, you know, you can still feel the peaks coming up there. If you want to have any information about Speck&Tech, you can go on our website. We have all the past issues, all the slides, all the speakers, anything, also on the LinkedIn to the people so you can stalk them. And you can also go on our social media. What you can do to help Speck&Tech is actually placing a like or a simple emoji or any reaction on our post, because it's giving us visibility and we're reaching a broader audience, we're reaching broader sponsors like them that actually are waving our community to donate and to make our events sustainable. And of course, join our Speck&Tech channel on Telegram that is giving you the most updated versions of whatever is happening. And if you really want to do something active, join our Slack team. It's actually cool. We've been 120 something members over there discussing about stuff like I want to build my own website, I want to do stuff, I want to create a new library on whatever. And yeah, we want to see active people there. Just shout it, and everyone is on Slack at the moment. Okay, final things. Do you have to donate? As always, I say no, but I also say yes. Because it's what sustains the community. Especially if you donate, you're gonna win a license of JetBrains, the whole suite. So you're gonna win the whole products of the JetBrains suite if you donate even 1 single cent for the night. And yeah, that's also what pays out the spec. Look at that, it's beautiful. And if you remember last time we tried this new experiment of having cooler beers, but it didn't really work out because it was fucking expensive. It was like €1. It was like €1.80 for a beer, which it's not much, especially because you would get it for €5 in any restaurant or in any bar. But we had to scale it down because we were spending €400 per beer per event, so it wasn't really sustainable. So okay, last three things. First one, we're gonna finalize the winners of our competition for getting a ticket of PyCon number 9. It's actually the conference about Python. We are media partners, so if you take a selfie with the Speck&Tech t-shirt, you can actually win one of those tickets for free. It's happening in Florence in mid-April, and yeah, that's pretty at how you can win it. Show us some love. The love to the community. It's actually taking one of these selfies. You see it? It's in a number of countries. That was in Africa, this was in Germany, this was in Rovereto, Trento, and Milan. So if you really feel proud of being part of this community, you don't have to take a picture with the t-shirt if you don't have it. You can also take it with whatever that feels fun and it's part of the Speck&Tech, so it could also be a sticker or anything else. Second, there's this event happening next week here in Trento. I don't know if you noticed, there are some leaflets around. These guys from Club Albach Trentino actually invited me to be a moderator. I have no fucking idea how I'm gonna be there, honestly. But it's gonna be pretty fun. And there are heavyweight speakers. One of them is actually in this room. Can you wave your hand? Ciao. Michele BARBERA from SpazioDati. And it's gonna be actually about the strategies for a pan-European market in Europe. About the digital single market. For example, the reason why you now can use your phone and just make calls from Austria, even though your SIM is Italian. That's something that the European Commission is doing and promoting and pushing a lot. So this event is going to be about that, but also beyond and all the things that are happening in this beautiful sanctuary. Final part of the night, and sorry for being this long, this one. We actually have our next event, and it's gonna be fucking awesome, because it's gonna happen in the beautiful Piazza Duomo, or Piazza Duomo Square, as I was saying, in the center of the town, and it's gonna be on the 12th of April. We have two awesome speakers, they're already on Eventbrite. One of them is coming directly from Switzerland, and one of them is actually traveling all around the world, so I don't even know where he is at the moment. But we're doing it together with the Smart City Week, so it's gonna be pretty interesting, and it's on the 12th of April, which is a Thursday night. So I would suggest you to be there. And yeah, what else can I say? If you have anything, any feedback, if you're saying, Franz, you're fucking too long, come to me and we talk about that. If you think that we are awesome, just tell us, or shoot us a message or whatever. If you have any idea about how to improve this community and these events, just let us know, because we listen to your feedback and we want to make this even better. Okay, thanks for the long introduction. I think I deserve an applause, right? And now I leave the word to the magic Johnson here, to our Marco from TOPTAL. Let me move this shit. And Speck&Tech goes live with the first talk of the night. Yeah, it's coming. Here it is.
How long do I have?
I will put you in.
30. Okay. I don't need this.
Okay. I think it was a Marco, so a big applause to Marco!
Hello everyone. Hi. So, I gather that most of you, so are you okay with the English? Yeah? Good. So I didn't know which language to do this in. I wrote the slides in English, but there are like 5 words on the slides, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so I see that many of you are not working remotely. Shame on you. So I'm going to pitch to you the idea of working remotely. I'm going to make you think that your life sucks, and work from the office sucks, and remote work is awesome. So this is, okay, I can go now. Okay, so here we go. Just a little picture of myself. That's me. That's my Twitter handle. Follow me on Twitter. TOPTAL is the company I work for, and Stack Overflow is the company I worked for before this. They are relevant here because they are both remote companies. So I've been working remotely for the past 5 years. I would never go back. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and a little bit about how the workplace evolved, especially outside of Italy, maybe in the UK or in the US, where people are sort of more open to change it. They're leading the charge on these kind of things. Okay, so. Okay, this is a bad slide. Okay, so the PS2, right? The PS2 was out around the early 2000s. That's when I started working, so millennia ago. And so how was work seen at the time, right? So, so work was either in an office, like a small office like this, or in cubicles, if you were very unlucky. Or if you were very lucky, you would have a private office, which is more or less what I imagine most of you see today. And you could maybe, work from home. That's how it was called, work from home. So that was either because there's too much snow and you can't go to work, so you work from home, or because you were traveling, or because you had an agreement and maybe one day of the week you could work from home. And if you did that, you would be seen like this guy here. So this is the guy working from home. So it's just not really working, just put your feet up, just browse Craigslist. Okay, so the tools of the job were very rough in the early 2000s, right? So you get like your fantastic Motorola work phone, and a Dell Latitude, which would suck, but would be free, and of course the RSA key to log into your VPN. The tools, like if you wanted to have a conference, you would install a plugin. That would be really bad usually. Outlook, everything is by email, right? So you get an email, send an email, forward an email, that's your job. And when you work, most of the work is done through waterfall, right? So everything is planned in advance. There is a nice plan with all the consequences and things happening one after the other, and you work with everything predetermined, and like a big, car factory, pretty much. And even then, though, around this second half of the 2000s, people started thinking differently and started seeing that you need to get people more organized, and so XP and agile development started. So there was a tiny little bit of that, but most of it, was like that. And in this kind of companies, you would stay for, say, 10 years, right? So you go for a company, work for them a long time, and that was very, very important. So, that has a lot of implications. You can't really fight with people, or you have to be nice to everyone, and then you have to see them every day for 10 years. So, and then, things change, and so life was like that, spreadsheets and things like that, and then there was a new change, which was an enabler for something better to happen. And the enabler that happened in the early 2000s was this one, ADSL, right? You all have ADSL today, well, most of you probably. Some of you won't probably even have ADSL, just use a phone. But at the time, it was the alternative to using modems. And it was very changing, it was transformative, right? It allowed people to actually work from home because they had the bandwidth. Other things happened. Blogging became a thing, right? So people started putting their own content. They were more and more, spent more of the time online. So there were a lot of influencers that became big and famous on the internet. Webcams, sounds ridiculous, but before that, webcams were really terrible. And you can't really work remotely if you can see other people. And social networks, they came about, early 2000s, and I would guess Facebook is from 2007, right? So that's about the time. And of course, these connect people, right? So when people are connected, they can work together. So when these things came about, and we went to the 2010s. So these years, let's say, more or less the last 10 years. So how things have changed with these technologies? Well, a lot of companies have now two modes. They are called remote-first companies. So they are normal companies, so traditional companies which have an office and everything. And they also allow remote work. So that's becoming more and more common. The difference from traditional companies is that all the business of the company tends to be run online, right? So it's not like if you are a remote worker, you're like this strange person that puts his feet up, but you're actually, a very cool, important person probably, and you're there and you're remote because you're hip and you're cool and you are basically a 10x developer. Right? And so the tools change as well, right? So 10x developers, they can do their own thing, right? So build your own computer. Why not? You stop having that stupid Latitude thing and you build your own computer at home. So you have a fantastic computer, which is a gaming computer, of course. There is a lot of overlap between developer computer and gaming computer. I don't know if it's really needed, but I strongly believe it is. So tools, they change as well, right? So they get a little bit better. We get Skype, we get HipChat, or Slack, for example, is started as well. Google Docs for collaboration, email, become less and less relevant here, especially because chat tends to be the new email. And of course, development strategy changes, right? So people don't do waterfall anymore. Everybody starts doing agile, whether it's Scrum or Kanban, is pretty much what's happening. And you stop seeing the waterfall graphs and you see all these nice burn downs and burn ups. So things have changed quite a bit, right? So just a small enabler like ADSL, well, massive bandwidth is not a small enabler, but another thing that changed though is the length of duration, right? Because as you have more opportunities as a developer or as a worker, the length of your average employment is going to go down. So if you go in the UK, for example, you're going to see a lot of people say 2 or 3 years at company and then they change. But I'm going to be optimistic here and say we're going down from 10 years to 5 years. So what happened next? Let's see. So estimations is hard, right? But then something happened which was very, very transformative, and it's a smartphone, right? The smartphone came about, and it was great and cool and changed all of our lives, and you wouldn't believe how much it changed the life for a lot of people all over the world. So what this actually did is not only made us all have a computer in our pocket every day, but it also made people from everywhere in the world. Like in the slums of Jakarta, you can go there and buy a SIM card, and you have data, and people have a smartphone, and they do the banking in the slums. They have a bank now, and this is what's happening because of this technology. So this means that the digital workers went up in 10 times, 100 times. So there's a lot of people with ample access to bandwidth, ample access to computation, and probably relatively cheap labor. Other important enablers here. Social media now is everywhere, right? I ask you to follow me on Twitter. Cloud tools, they've come of age. Before they were like sort of an experimental thing with plugins and crap and whatever. Nowadays, if you want to work, everybody works, say, with GitHub. Even non-developers, they use GitHub just to write documentation or do web pages. So all things like that. Conferencing tools nowadays are just, everybody uses them. They're all HTML5. You don't need to install anything. They just work. Things like new technologies came about, and people can really easily collaborate. And so we get to the 2020s, let's say, or today, more or less. And more or less, there are a few things which we weren't able to do before, and we are able to do now. And, well, can you see what these guys are doing? Can you guess what it is? Yeah, who are they? Are they working?
No.
No?
Yeah,
are they on vacation?
They are doing both.
They're doing both, right? So this kind of thing is a thing, and it's called being a digital nomad. So what it means is that a lot of people, especially people who are younger, they just not necessarily have a house. They work and they have enough money. They work maybe for a company like TOPTAL, and they can travel the world. And they go 1 month here, 1 month there, 1 month there. There are organized cruises of the world. If you make enough money and not an excessive amount, they take you from one city to the next every month around the world all the year. So you can have live your life in the sun and always in summer if you want. We have it at TOPTAL. We have many people that now it's winter, so who likes to live in Siberia during winter? Not the Siberians, so they go all to Thailand, or people from Poland go to the Canaries and they work from there. It's possible. It's absolutely, and the thing that enabled this is pervasive bandwidth, right? So wherever you go, you got your ADSL, so you can work remotely. Company doesn't care. Why should they? We already have people from Japan in our company, so if you go to Japan, that's fine. That's great for people that have a Japanese wife, for example. So yes, so people that now that work remotely are seen more like this. This is a relatively famous cafe in Berlin, and this is where SoundCloud was born. And it's just people that don't really have an office at all. They just meet wherever, and they do stuff. They build great things. What tools do they use? Well, you should know because we all use them, right? The smartphone and the Mac, typically. Software tools, Zoom for conferencing, which is way better than the alternatives because if you're actually building a company like, for example, TOPTAL, which has hundreds of employees, you need to have a tool that can put hundreds of people online at the same time, and this is the only one. Slack, I mean, Speck&Tech is using it. As you can see, GitHub, as I was mentioning, is even sponsoring us. So what's happening to the methodology? The methodology is, I would say is agile now, but I see less and less teams doing Scrum proper or Kanban proper. You just put up a Trello or whatever works and tend to be much more relaxed. The thing that's changed though is that the engagement of a person, so a person staying in a company is gone even lower. So now I'm gonna say 2 years. Why? Because as you're remote, you get more opportunities. So let's see some more prediction about the future. Here's where I say all the stuff that is probably completely wrong. I'm just making this up as I go. But I think it's a very important, well, I think I'm not that far from the truth. So, new transformative technology. Can anybody guess it from this fantastic image? No? Of course not. It's a terrible image. But it's the first thing I found on Google when I look for machine learning. So apparently this is machine learning. Okay, so what's machine learning going to do to our jobs? Well, it's going to do a lot of things. And I'm using machine learning here as in a very loose sense, okay? And in fact, I'm gonna cover with the word machine learning, which is completely wrong. I'm gonna say there's the classification problem. So the fact that you can use artificial intelligence to distinguish beads of different colors or drive a car. From the generative problem, so can we teach a computer to write music, for example? And from robotics, which is sort of uses it, and there is a technological aspect, there's an engineering aspect, and so on. But these are all technologies which are converging nowadays. So if you take the jobs and let's say take any job and you can put it over here. So some jobs are more manual, some jobs are more intellectual. Some jobs have a subjective criteria for success, and some jobs have an objective criteria for success. So for example, so if you're a bricklayer, right? Well, your job is mostly manual. It's not 100% manual because there's a lot of knowledge, and you need to know how to make your mixes and the problems that people have. But it's mostly manual, and it's quite objective, right? The wall that you build stays up or goes down. But you can be a software developer, in which case it's not that objective, and it's a little bit halfway. Sure, you can write tests to make sure that your software is correct, but tests are not enough, and often code needs to have more qualities than you can test in order to be effective. And it's also proven mathematically that you can test software, so it's perfect. But anyways, it's totally costly, right? So you don't build anything, you just write software. But if you do sculpture, for example, sculpture is more interesting, right? It's very manual, there's an intellectual component for sure, but it's subjective, right? What makes a good sculpture, bad sculpture is completely subjective. Moving on, poetry, instead is like software for the mind, right? So cognitive but very subjective. And diagnostics, like being a doctor, for example, is quite objective and mental. Accountancy maybe is very objective. Again, there's more work there. So once we put all the stuff on here, we can see the impact. How are these things going to be impacted by new technologies? Okay, so let's say, for example, robotics, right? So robotics is going to impact these parts here, right? The stuff that is made, it can be machine made. And as machines become smarter, it's going to be impacting these things. So there's always going to be a value, say, for sculpture. I'm not saying that it isn't, but I'm pretty sure that people that do sculpture are going to use machines in order to do their sculptures. Masonry, same thing, right? And when they do this, these jobs become more cognitive and less manual. So, but there is also another impact, is the impact of machine learning. And, well, poor choice of color on my side, sorry. But all these three are actually impacted by machine learning, right? Machine learning enables robots to be intelligent. So it enables all the left side, but also the right side. We are already seeing that there is software, for example, that is competing in a way with doctors, so they can help them diagnose disease. Surely it's going to impact software development, and surely is impacting accountancy if you use Expensify. Does anybody know about Expensify? No? Yeah, it does. Well, it's a software that you use for expenses reporting. So what you do, you go, say, out for lunch, and you get a receipt. You take a picture of it with the software, and it automatically puts it in your books. So it knows where you went to eat, and how much you spent. And it just reads everything from the receipt and categorizes it and puts it in your accountancy software. So that's already happening. And the generative machine learning, of course, is gonna impact the arts, right? So we're already seeing that there are very interesting experiments that are able to do painting in the style of someone else, or music in the style of someone else. So that's happening, and that's for sure is happening, and it's going to be used by artists, but it's also going to displace a lot of the work they do, and it's going to change it. So, so what does this mean? Well, it means that the stuff that is in here, in the yellow area, is more or less going to benefit from machine learning. It's going to be enabled by machine learning. We have stuff that is probably going towards the cognitive and towards the subjective. It's going to be harder to do for computers, easier to do for humans, and you will have better tools to do it. And in practice, what I was saying before is that all these different jobs are going to change, so they go towards that, right? So sculpture, yes, you're going to have the traditional sculpture for sure, but you're going to have new artists that can use new tools to build this stuff. Masonry, the same. Accountancy, the same, and so on. And the interesting part here is that all of these, on the right side, are jobs that can go remote, right? All the cognitive jobs don't need you in an office. So more and more people are going to go remote. That's for sure. And they're going to be enabled by new machines. So what does that mean? What does this technology, what is the change that people can expect? Well, we already see it at TOPTAL, where we like to push stuff to the limit. So, for example, so let's talk about the 2030s. Yeah, let's be crazy here. Okay, so instead of having a place where you work, you will have a time zone, right? People will aggregate over time zones, not over places. Where you are is not important. The important is how many hours do you have overlap with your coworkers. And more people are going to be remote workers, right? They're not going to be the nerds. They're not going to be the 10x developers. They're going to be just random people. The tools, right? Nowadays, we are starting to use the cloud. The cloud is going to be an enabler, but also enabled by remote force, by remote work. And so you won't have the software on your computers anymore. The software will all be remote. It's already going in that direction. I don't see that changing. Right, nowadays, if you are doing, say, development, a lot of the development tools that used to be only on computers now are in the cloud. If you are doing any kind of office work and use an office, your office now is in the cloud, and so on. And this trend is going to continue. And that would mean that the device that you have in your pocket, or the laptop that you have, doesn't matter anymore. It becomes just something that you can rent. You can go to a hotel and you will have a laptop or a thingy that you can use, and you will have everything on your fingertips. And software-wise, open source is the big thing. It's already huge right now, but it's going to become more and more bigger because open source tends to be viral, right? There is a common interest for people to have free software. So as they build it, they can use it to build more software and so on. And so that trend goes on and on and on. And it will get to a point when it's actually cheaper to work in open source than work in closed source. And at that point, it will be the standard, it will be the exception not to have open source. And I don't know what this is. This I cannot really predict. So methodologies are going to change, for sure. And right now, we already seeing a movement away from Agile because it doesn't really work with remote workforces. A lot of the stuff in Agile is right, but it was built when everybody thought that people were working in an office, and things change when people are not. So another thing that's going to happen is the methodologies bloody hell, are going to change, but also the amount of time you spend in a company is going to change. So the kind of work is going to go towards freelancing, and you will probably have many different clients and many different companies which you work with, and maybe you work with them for 6 months or 3 months or 12 months. But it's going to be a very, very frictionless market. And what that means is that it's driven by passion. So what happens is, it's not a market in which there are 1 million developers like you with your skill, for example, and you can find a job. It's going to be a market in which the best, so the people who are most passionate about it will have a place. And the other people will need to find a different job in a different field where they're passionate. So we're going to be passion driven because the global market is so much bigger than a single country market that things are going to change. And I know this sounds strange to Italian ears, right? Nothing ever changes here. But things are going to change, and they're going to change fast. And the reason is that even today, I went away from Italy. I couldn't be a better developer than I was 10 years ago in Italy. I worked in Portugal, I worked in France, I worked in the UK, and now I'm back. And why am I back? Because I'm working remotely. So nowadays, yes, I live in Italy, I pay taxes in Italy, a lot of taxes. But I love this country, but my company is not Italian. And this is going to happen, it's going to be more and more common. And if the company lays me off or I decide to leave, then I have no doubt that I can find another company somewhere on the planet that will have me as a developer. And this, I believe that this is the way to go and the way that is going to happen for most people. So if you are a university student, start thinking in these terms because that's happening very soon. So, thank you. One last thing. We have a ton of gadgets, TOPTAL gadgets at the table over there. So if you have questions and you want to ask them, then you can go there and get like a t-shirt or something.
Cool, thanks Marco for the very inspiring talk. Actually, one of our last speakers, Filippo Andolfatto, is actually working as a UX designer on TOPTAL.
Okay.
So yeah, it works also if you're a designer, not even, you don't need to be a developer. Stay here, you stay.
Yeah.
We have time for a couple of questions from the audience. Anyone interested in the topic? I was actually...
And does anybody think that I'm actually crazy?
I was actually discussing about these last weekend in Barcelona, so exactly the same topic about how the work changing and how people will work whatever it works. Questions from the audience? Anyone? Don't be shy. We're gonna stay here 5 minutes waiting anyway, so you'd better ask anything. Yeah, here it is.
We could pick up someone and just Yes.
I don't think you're crazy at all. I think it's very realistic what you're saying. I just think maybe you're a bit downplaying the lack of human connection that could just spring from this kind of situation. I've been working for freelance myself for several years, so maybe I just...
Well, okay, so, well, it turns out there are two different kinds of human connection. There is the work connection that you need to have. I talk every day with him, for example, on Slack or via chat or whatever, and that's enough for a professional relationship, right? Is not enough as a human being. So your life needs to change in other ways, right? So I was being optimistic and future looking and so on, but of course things change. So this is going to impact, for example, the way cities are, right? Because nowadays there are these big cities, everybody takes the car and goes to the cities to work. But you don't need to do that anymore. So where you live is different in smaller communities. And you will need to make friends. And they will be local friends, not work friends.
But during the day, you're at home and you're always on your own? Or?
I'm with my family. So that's the big perk for me, right? I spend time with my family. I'm there with my son many hours a day that I wouldn't be able to if I work remotely. In fact, when I did not work remotely, he was alive already, and I did not spend much time with him at all. So, yeah.
More questions? Somebody actually being against his vision, probably. Yeah, here it is. What happened?
It's screensaver.
Well, I'm worried about taxes. So, if I work remotely for a company that is not Italian,
Yes.
I have to pay taxes for the company in that country and also in Italy.
No, it's not like that. Unless you are very unfortunate and you are an American citizen, it's not like that. So, you actually bring a very good point. So one of the enablers that I did not mention, but is going to happen, I believe is going to happen, is we are going to have some, at least European-wide legislation for remote work. Because at the moment it's a bit of a mess. So the way it works right now is that you cannot hire people from a different country. So you need to have a company of some sort. It can be quite cheap. I did it here. It was maybe, I think, 400 euros to build it up. And then the other company makes a deal with your company, and your own company employs you. So that's how it works in Italy. In the UK, which is a bit more forward, in the UK you can just call up a site called Crunch, crunch.co.uk. It's just a site. You just call them up. You pay £1 and you get company straight away, like that. You just give it a name and then you sign a little paper, and that's it. And they give you all the accounting software, whatever, and you just pay yourself every month, and that's it. So that is totally doable.
More questions? To go, yeah, no, just wait a second. Some people are live on Facebook looking at us, so it's better if we have them recorded.
No, I know a couple of people who started their own companies, and they rely on programmers and other people from India or a lot of third world countries because
Yes.
it's so much cheaper. I
Yes.
was wondering if you could just speak about that as competition.
Yes. Okay, so that's an interesting point because, of course, there's going to be also cheaper labor force. But it's not the same quality, right? So a company like TOPTAL, for example, only hires the top 3% of developers because that's what our company's customers want. That's what they want. Right? So they want very reliable people, maybe coming out of Google or very big experiences, so we can give them people that are super productive, they're very good at what they do and so on. So there's no race to the bottom at all with a company like that. Of course, there are other companies, but I don't believe that there is a future in cheap labor for highly cognitive things. It's just... Yes?
Okay, so the follow-up question is, what is the difference between somebody, you send an assignment out, and somebody from India can do this for 10 euros for 2 weeks work, and that's an exaggeration. But what's the quality you're looking for? What is the measure that you're...
You mean at TOPTAL or for remote work in general?
General software.
So in software you want to build software that you can maintain, that does what it needs to do, and that is supportable in the long run. I mean, that's a overly broad statement, but in general, in most cases like that, you can do prototypes, and that's a completely different matter. But if you want to do that, you need to have a reliable workforce, and a workforce that is cheap has been proven over and over and over not to be able to do that. This is not to say that an Indian developer cannot do that, just to be clear. There are fantastic Indian developers that are really good, but they're not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I was just going to make a follow-up on that, just on that. I think conversely, it gives the best of the workforce in countries. You mentioned that there's many more, right? Better opportunities, and also better opportunities to earn a better living and a better salary. So I think that's what remote working is also going to do. Of course, they can charge, lower than someone working with them, right, and still have a pretty good life there. But I think it will, bring greater dignity to people whose labor costs are really driven down currently in the current global market.
And just to add to that, there are a lot of remote companies that don't differentiate between markets. So if you go to work with them and you're an engineer, you get, I don't know, $50,000 a year, and no matter where you come from. So if you're in India and life is very cheap, good for you. Stack Overflow is one, for example. It doesn't really matter where you live, you get the same salary. It really depends. TOPTAL is different because we let people set their own rates, so we have no control on that. But also there is another thing, right? So that's why I was saying this is going to be more passion-driven. So there is going to be a little less space for people that don't work well and just want to charge less. It's
Cool.
part of life. It's a market.
Okay, final big applause for Marco. He actually has some good experience. He's based in Trento, so we'll probably have him as a speaker on something even more techy in the future, hopefully, right? Yeah, I guess so. Okay, I would say that we have a break, but before having a break, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen later. So we're going to have a break of 5 minutes, which actually will become 10, but just to tell you. Yeah. You can go to the bathroom, you can go out smoking a cigarette, but don't do it because it breaks your lungs. Martina, yeah, don't smoke. You can actually go here and get a beer. What's more important is that once you come back and you actually be quiet, we're going to start with a pitch competition. So we're going to have the companies that we told before present in front of the audience why they're cool and why you should be interested in them. 2 warnings for the speakers. This is a microphone like a gelato. it's a directional microphone, so you actually need to put it on your chin here. And this is all for you as well. When you're gonna present in front of an audience, you're gonna be fucking anxious, and people will stare at you, and you will start saying, "Oh fuck, I'm not good enough." So at the point, just put it here. You can do all the pressure that you want, and you keep on talking. So it's very important. Just have it here. You can put as much pressure as you want, and you're gonna be fine. Yeah, that's it. I think I had another point, but I also forgot. So I would say take a 5 minutes break, kids, and we see each other in 5 minutes.
Trovo CARLEVARO e torno a te. Infatti ho messo un
Hello. We are starting back. We try to be as short as possible to leave the whole night with so much spec and so much feel.
Roberto.
People, we move back, please. Night is long. Oh. Get your seat. Yeah. Get your seat. Get your seat, please. Please. People, everything. Cool, we're starting. Whoa. Remind you, we're going to have a long break later that you can enjoy. Silence, please. The button is starting right now. I don't want to spoil anyone. Okay. So, I remember it's gonna be like a sort of a Royal Rumble. If you're into wrestling or whatever, you can also wave it at the speakers and decide who's gonna be the coolest one at the end. We are gonna have 7 pitches by people. We're gonna limit them to 5 minutes. They actually have this clock here. I'm gonna set it to 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, it's gonna ring as a fucking hell. So, yeah, try not to go to 5 minutes. Stay to 4:58. So that it's annoying, you know. So yeah, to say very quickly, this is the order that I have on my phone. 1 second. So, Dedagroup, SpazioDati, Informatica Trentina, Spindox, CET Digital, OpenContent, Belka. Okay, that's it. No questions after the pitch. You can actually show the speaker how cool he was by like being enthusiastic or waving at the crowd or making an hola or anything. We're gonna give him the word. Come on. Yeah. So we said no questions from the audience because that's what the networking party is there for. So like after finishing here, which is like at the moment like 9:20, so probably around 10, you're gonna have till hopefully midnight, but could be a bit later, to drink, to get steak, cheese, anything else, and also go to our people that just pitch and say, I don't agree with that, I like what you're doing, I want to get hired, I'm gonna looking for a senior position. Sort of, okay? Cool. The word to Roberto, our first speaker from Dedagroup. A big applause to him.
It's 15 seconds and 20 slides, so for 20 commandments, can I start?
Yeah.
Okay. First, we're too many. 1,600 growing, no more space, no meeting rooms. No, I don't need it. No PCs, no way. So, we're already too many. This is the first reason why you should not apply. We're old. Average is 44 and 20% over, which is much older. So why should you work with old people? It's not a very good job. So I know you don't like traveling, and that's a good reason. We have offices in Italy and also in the US, in Mexico. Yes, we have one in Hawaii. And so even if you like traveling, you must be aware that it's an office with 3 guys and it's full. No way, so stop. No way to work there. Everybody wants to go there, but it's 3 people. That's it. So, have you ever heard of data center, software releases, and well, it means working on Saturdays, Sundays, August, Christmas, New Year's Eve, so that's a good reason. And no comment on this. We don't pay as Google. That's it. You can go ask an HR, but better ask Google. And yes, we don't know who decided it, and but actually we use SAP and Office 365 to work, and that's it. You have to cope with it. And I know you like COBOL. You would like to code in RPG, but unfortunately we're looking for Java and Python developers. So I'm sorry for that. I'm really sorry. We have a CMS platform which was developing pretty heavy programming. I don't know exactly. They told me that. I don't know. And I know that you don't like playing with Kinect. I know you don't like. And we've been using it for physical rehabilitation within it. So it's something you don't like to do with us. It's sort of odd things. And well, yes, we work with all major fashion brands in Italy. That's true. I never ever met a single top model. Never. And we are doing a lot of business with the public administration in Italy. Do you know what it means? If you know, well, that's it. So I have a lot of friends and co-workers. They doing IoT, and say, IoT? What's that? And they say, mother of time. And okay, so that's IoT. Okay, we are doing IoT. on all projects. And we deal with all ancient paper books, dusty things, dusty business. That's what we've done in the Vatican Library. They asked to turn them into some electronic stuff. So, and there's a real danger for our techies now. We are with second edition of the Digital Academy, and they are hiring sociologists, economists, and communicationists. I know you like fintech. I'm sorry, in 1 or 2 years, all our bank business will be over. And so, I'm sorry for that. We are doing, I don't know what we are doing with research. We're doing something with research, but actually we are not understanding more. And if you go to HR, they call this empowerment or personal leadership. Actually, we have too much to do to tell you what to do, so this is what they call it, leadership. This is what a customer said 2 weeks ago. It's a complex, simple business here. And so if it's complex, it's not simple. If it's simple, it's not complex. I don't know what we're doing, actually. This was a major fashion brand. Well, so even if you would like to apply, be aware that our mailbox is linked to that rule. So that's where it's going in your CV. So thank you very much.
That was a pretty great start. We will be sharing. Okay, cool. Give me a second. Cool. So this is the.
Do you want a mainframe? Would you like a mainframe? I can provide you a mainframe.
Okay. Giulio. I'm having a Mac for like 2 months, guys, and it's a nightmare.
Oh, come on.
No, it's cool, but it cannot do the simple things. It's only for advanced stuff. Yeah, thanks, Giulio.
Now it's
Okay, it's actually a presentation of one slide.
That's it.
5 minutes.
Thanks. Hello, everybody. I knew that I couldn't stand the competition with Roberto and with the other speakers. So that's my deck. End of it. So how can I win your heart? I decided to tell you the truth, no slides. I won't even tell you what we do because you can just Google it, come on. You don't need me telling you what we do. But there's one thing, I loved Marco's presentation, but there's one thing I disagree on. And that's about the work balance life. We actually have lots of fun in the office, lots of fun. I worked a lot as a remote, but I actually like it more to work in the office today. Which doesn't, we have lots, our company is 32 people, so it's a small company. And we have people from 5 different nationalities, and there's actually people working remote. But still, we really have a lot of fun in the office. Then another reason why you should Google SpazioDati app is that we are a small company that works like a startup. We are a startup. You don't need wearing a tie. You don't have COBOL codes. But we also have one of our main investors that holds 49% of the company is a company that is is listed on the stock exchange. So we have the fortune of looking at both worlds at the same time. So working as a startup, but also dealing with a very large company that works with us. Then we also have fun because we have cool clients. Amazon among them, for example, but lots of them in Italy and abroad, and that's fun. But we don't only work with the large ones. We also work with a lot of startups, including some that are here tonight. And lastly, there's another thing that I really love about SpazioDati, and it's that we get a ton of series, mostly about data science, because now it's sexy, data science is sexy, so we got a ton of series about data science, and no one about back-end programming and web development, which is what really needed. But we really don't give a shit about your CV. We look at how passionate you are, and we don't really give a shit what you did in the past, but we care a lot about your passion and how much you want to learn new things and teach new things to us, because we want you bring something to the company. We don't pretend to teach you, and oh yes, maybe something we can teach you, but for sure there's a lot you can teach to us. And that's why I think it's cool to work at SpazioDati. That's it.
Great. Fantastic. Second presentation. Third presentation, we have our friend here from, yeah, a second. Need to move it. Oh, fuck that. Tell me the story, yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh. Oh. That's more easy than it seems. Cool. Second speaker, a long-time friendship.
Wow. Thank you very much. Always happy to be here, maybe not all the time because I don't have the time. So, but basically, this is the follow-up also of what we did in the academy. This is why I'm starting this slide deck from the European project that supported part of the cost of the academy. So it was a nice experience, even if our company is Informatica Trentina, it is a company owned by the local government, the province, and partially also by the municipality. Is a company that has a strange dynamics. Before someone mentioned the public administration, how it works as not as a big example of how nice could be, but if it is possible to do also something innovative inside the public administration, and we are trying to do it, even if struggling a little bit on this, it's not easy. And just recently also, this is also why I'm coming back also to my company, we started again an effort inside Informatica Trentina to put in some topics that could be also cool for you to work with, some things that could be maybe challenging to adding inside public administration software, because typically the public administration software are a little bit more boring stuff, you know, managing stuff, process, data in, data out. By the way, so I need to make a small cameo of the European project because, how does it work to switch to the next slide? Because I see an open content platform that is a nice cool stuff that is for the next speaker.
Wasn't me.
So, okay, perfect. So just really, I don't have how much time I have still. Okay, so just to...
The other way around.
Okay, perfect. The European project basically is involving here in Trento, Informatica Trentina, but is also involving other persons. The nice part of this project is that, okay, first of all, also in Informatica Trentina, you can work on some kind of projects that are involving all the partners from outside of Italy, so that would be an interesting environment, maybe to having some good experience. But then, the second thing of this project is that this is a project is not just about developing stuff, but it's more about how to engaging with people to developing these kind of things in a way that is more collaborative. This is why also we try to do this hackathon, but also we did another hackathon just recently about developing chatbot. And then, of course, so it's about, maybe this is maybe the link with the remoting, but it's more about involving the person inside the process. This is the interesting part that we are experimenting on this project. Okay. Okay. I'm going. Okay, I could succeed. Then, okay, I don't have a lot of time, but probably the good point that I would like to mention is, no, forget about this. I would like to know, really honestly, that there is several activity of the project, but this is not the point. No, the point maybe is this, also because you're looking for a job, and, okay, then at a certain point, your slides are hanging, okay, perfectly. I exceeded the buffer of the, okay. This is the point that I would like to talk about you. Then probably some of you already, but probably not a lot. The fact that Informatica Trentina and also our friends, our cousin that is Trentino Netto, they are not here tonight, but they were also part of the organization of the Hackathon. We are merging, and so this is an official news. In June, we are merging together. So then now I'm talking about Informatica Trentina, but maybe in few months, because basically the expectation is that in June we are moving to this new branding, the new name, and new also organization. So maybe if you want to send the CV or also the stage that I'm talking about later, you have to send it to this new name, that is Trentino Digitale, that is basically the merging between the networking company owned by the province with the company, that is Informatica Trentina, that is developing services. And then, no, I cannot. I'm going back again, okay. Next time I will test it. And lastly, see, this is what I'm putting on the table to offer to you with the last few seconds. We are looking for someone to making a couple of stages, 3 stages. One about, the topic is the blockchain development. The second one is the Internet of Things using some sensors. And the third one is about using the Google App engine to developing some kind of application on top of this framework. So if you are interested in these kind of things, you could be, it's about 6 months stage inside our company. You could send your request, and then later I'm also available to having more information about this stuff. Sorry, that's all. It was a blame of this, not because.
I nailed it.
See, you're not so bad.
Oh, look at that. Okay. Wait a second. Spindox.
Hello everyone. So, yeah. I'm CRISTIANO, I'm from Spindox, and yeah, we talk about maybe, I made the most boring presentation, so I hope possible. So, basically, who we are a system integrator. Who doesn't know who is a system integrator, sorry. With a system integrator, basically we are a consultant company, so, making services for other companies. So our revenues are, we have 32 million of revenues. We are not so big like our friend Roberto. We are not so big, but quite. We are around 500 people. We are now ranked in top 100 Italian ICT companies. And we have 6 offices around Italy and 1 R&D hub here in Trento. It's called Spindox Labs. And yeah, what we do, basically we are split in three main areas. So consulting, product services, and operation. Basically, consulting it's like project management, and product services is like our core, and we are making products, so software. We are a nerd company, so we are all of that. And operation, that it's like having service desk for our customers. So we work for only private companies and only the type of companies that it's called the multinational or enterprises, because it's our business. So no offense for anyone else, but it's our target. And we have a lot of partners as a big company, and as a software development company, we have a lot of software partners and cloud partners. Yeah, I would like to talk a little bit about Trento, because we are in Trento, and because I'm actually the R&D director of the company. So yeah, why we are in Trento? For improving R&D capacity and for collaboration with research. We believe in collaboration. We believe in the connection. I really like remote working, but I also really like to see people for the real social life. So you have to meet people in front. Yeah, the most easy thing to make research, it's to be in a research institute. It's to be near AT Digital, near FBK, near universities, and stay inside with them. It depends. Actually, it depends what you do. I mean, we want to research and we want to be connected with these people. So I think the easiest is to be there with them. Okay. So yeah, also for having access to local funds, and also to scouting new partners, like the friends are here, other companies, and being here in Speck&Tech, Yeah, for sure, open innovation. I already talk. I mean, I already talk about FBK and C Lab. I don't know if you know C Lab or Startup Lab, but basically we are inside also that. And yeah, QuickNet, universities. What we do in research? Yeah, it's like it's an hype. Everyone is doing that, but yeah, we are working on that. So artificial intelligence, yes. And what it means for us, yeah, we're working on image recognition, natural language processing, and predictive maintenance. Like, there are topics, and why we are doing that? Because our customers are asking for that. So basically, we are targeting for that. Internet of Things, yeah, a lot of sensors, a lot of different type of sensors for indoor, outdoor positioning, or real-time monitoring, wearable, and whatever. Big data, for sure, already know about that. And yeah, blockchains in different sources, Now blockchain is everywhere. So yeah, we are starting on that. So I think it's like a really brief. So thank you very much.
Pretty on time. Let me see if I nail this shit. Okay. Yeah. We do it here. Let me do it there. Oh wow, what the fuck is this? People like really? Oh fuck, get a fucking Windows.
It's okay, you put both the presentation on.
Sweet. Fuck that. A guy with his problems. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Bit of different presentation, not on hiring people, not on what we do, but on it's actually my organization. So I'm not presenting because I want to do any conflict of interest. So I leave the word to Federico. It's the other way around. Down. Okay. Welcome to the 3rd millennium, people.
Thank you.
Word to Federico.
Thank you, Francesco. I made actually Francesco made a lot of this and most of this. We made a very nice deck of slides, but mostly not gonna use it probably. because after seeing this, the other presentations, also feeling the energy in this place and the people here, I decided that first maybe I should address the main reason why you should work with us, you should contemplate working with us, is that I think you could work for an organization which has a sense of purpose, which can allow you to do the job with a meaning. I mean, I heard other people saying, okay, we are a public body, we're not very sexy. Actually, I don't believe it at all. I think I'm very lucky, for instance, working on a pan-European organization who does great things for Europe, trying to use technology to improve the life of people, right? So it's not just technology for the sake of technology itself, it's something to trying to make a difference, okay? We are not American, we are not maybe the coolest ones, I don't know, we had a lot of issues, we had a lot of problems, a lot of bureaucracy, but I think it's a very unique thing that we have in Europe right now. So basically, you know, we are part of the European Institute of Technology, so we are funded by them, but we're an independent organization. And stretching this a bit, we could say we are trying to find a European way to innovation. It's a bit of a stretch. But anyway, we try to foster innovation in Europe, taking into account our peculiarities, which means, for instance, that Europe is more fragmented than other countries, for instance, like the US. We have a problem of lacking of digital skills in people, and we have sometimes difficulties in bringing new innovation to the market. So what we do is trying to overcome these obstacles, and how we do that is, first of all, by having a presence in a lot of European countries. We have a pan-European ecosystem. We have 15 locations, 10 countries. We have a lot of partners from universities, from big corporations, research centers, and so on. We have educational programs, so we try to bridge the skill gap this way. We have master school, doctoral school, professional school programs. We have innovation activities, which, as I said, are always focused on trying to bring in an advantage to citizens, because we're paid by taxpayers' money, so we try to make a difference in that. So this is maybe where we are. Of course, you know, the Italian audience in Trento. We have right now 170, 160 partners, 26 of which are Italian. And our innovations are focused on this kind of action lines, which we believe are what Europe right now needs the most. So we have digital industry, digital cities, digital infrastructure, well-being, and finance. And always with a focus on the so-called deep tech innovation, which is an innovation which has a strong research and development background. It's a bit different. It's a bit also because of the specificities of Europe, which we have a lot of great university, a lot of great researchers, and we can do a lot of innovation that's deep tech. We have an accelerator for bringing innovation to the market, which was considered 2 years ago one of the best in the world. And we have, as I said, these educational programs that combine a mix of online and in-presence lessons with a strong network of universities from all over Europe, some of the best in Europe in this kind of subjects. And let me focus a little bit on the master school, because maybe some of you could be interested in doing that. The master school program is it's kind of different from others because it's 2 years programs. Each year is done in a different universities, and you get 2 master's degrees, one from each university, plus an EIT certificate, which certifies that the course is being held according to certain standards. We have a lot of topics from computer science, autonomous system, etc. And you can travel across Europe doing that, not only because you do 2 different courses in 2 different countries, but we have also summer schools. And we have the kickoff, usually in another location, in one of our centers. Last time it was in Helsinki. We had a graduation ceremony, and we had an internship that lasts some months in another country as well. As said, we have 8 programs right now for the master school, covering some of the most advanced topics right now on the scene. And in Trento, we have visual computing communication, internet technology and architecture, cybersecurity, and autonomous system. Okay, as probably one of the main assets is the network. I was speaking before with some of our students, and it's the chance of having these pan-European nodes and being able to meet people, very highly talented people, and network with them, and also you can bring into practice what you learn very easily, because the kind of teaching that we do is very focused also on bringing innovation to the market, so not just theoretical innovation. You will probably get a good job. So far, everyone has found a job either by entering a PhD program or start their own business or being hired by a company. And we have a couple of guys we are very proud of, like Federico Spinzi, who ended up working in Google, and Leonardo last year, who ended up in Zalando. Of course, you will also be helped in covering your tuition fees, if depending on merit, not for everyone, but you can get a monthly allowance of up to 750. And okay, thanks. And this is a very important.
It's not ringing, Giulio.
Last but not least, it's not working. If you want to apply. Okay, thank you.
This should be ringing. I don't know. We got so many technical problems, people, tonight. This should make an. Oh, okay. Yeah, yet another button, no? Okay. 2 more questions for the night. 2 more presentations for the night. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, second. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Down. Down.
Hello, everybody. In open content, what we are doing? Well, we are focused on a different kind of market, media industry in particular. It was our first market. But this evening I would like to talk about a very important for us project and technology, which is oriented to the public administration sector. It is an initiative that was born something like 7-8 years ago. And basically it was oriented to developing very stupid websites. So we had to face a different way to make the public officer happy. This is very important for yourself too, because I have a question for you later about it. And so the main focus it was to solve a lot of problems in terms of multi-channel. So structure information, or trying to do our best to do that. Using all the possible channels, not only digital, of course, and try to spend as less as possible, to waste as less as possible the time of the public officers, of course. So, institutional web portals, then we understand during the times that we were managed something very precious, something which has a different value from only just communication. Because we noticed that a lot of information, public information, is naturally published on a web portal. Only they are, in most of the cases, not structured. So we try to structure the data and build a lot of open data. The last step is online services, which is our last project and initiative. So this is a very important picture. This is the one that we have in mind in front of us every time that we design a new microservice. So we are in front of the picture every time, focusing on open government concept. Open government is a new way to think in terms of public services. So for us, the very important thing is that the public administration try to change the mind and to consider transparency as an opportunity, participation as the possibility to involve directly the citizen for different reasons, and collaboration. So try to do to arrange public services together with the citizen. In this sense, we want to change the traditional digital services or application. We are not just selling an application. We would like to change twice the organization of the public administration, and it is what we are doing in different contexts. So, the citizen normally has to look for the right public administration. Once he found it, he has to look the right office in most of the cases. Online, it's the same. For us, we consider the public administration as just a subject, and he can try to promote directly to the citizen the services. Just not waiting that the citizen has to move herself from home to look for the right service. So, starting from a very stupid website, and our mission was to make the public officer happy. Happy because he spare time and he can see the kind of job that he's doing every day in many different channels. So for us, the focus is now on the editors, who are the people that has the know-how in mind. So the most competence in the public administration is still in the mind of many public officers. So the mission is try to extract from the mind of the single person as much as competence that we can, using very small, friendly, smart interfaces, multi-channel interfaces, of course. So this is our platform. It's just a detail. This is the content structure that we try to implement during the time. So a content model that we made at home, of course. There's a mission also for us to try to convince the public officer to release data as public data. But what we understand is a new way to produce them. So don't waste your time to, as company also, to refine the data once we can publish directly open services, for example. We have a great experience with Commonwealth, which is a local web portal, a local initiative, which collects a lot of open data, which is published on the European data portal, trying to serve a lot of data in a very fast way and a very practical way for the developers. So you see that the mission is to make smiling also the public officer. For us, it's very important. Which are smiling are a very huge number, actually. This is just the installation in Trentino that we have, but we are collecting a lot of interest from other regions in Italy, 8 different regions, actually. We are working from Palermo to Bozen, and we need someone that helps us also to develop this network of content in a different way. Starting from a monolithic installation to a distributed and microservices oriented one. So, if it is moving, okay.
It's fucking working. Okay.
This is an example of microservice. Many thanks.
So we always have to double check stuff, and we barely managed the time to take a shower, so it gets complicated when you need to share. But final presentation of the night. Our friends from Belka. Giulio, probably feeling sad for not being my valletta tonight. We say again how Windows is better, yeah? Cool.
This is Ubuntu running, that's why it's working.
Hello. So, yeah. How many of you don't know Belka here? All right.
not so famous anymore. So tonight we are here. I am pitching because we are looking for a front-end developer who likes React, so pretty specific. So if you don't like that, you feel free to just grab a beer and sleep for these 5 minutes. So I want to tell you what we do, why we do it, and how we do it, and then you're free to go. So how it started. Belka is a very small company. We started in the ugliest office ever, which was very small. We started as a 3-people operation. The office was very messy, by the way, very dusty. But why we started? Because that's just, you know, a funny video that I found on Google Photo from the past. So why we started? Because we thought that web is right now horrible, but not just web, application.